for Advanced Algebra 1, the Topic 8 review worksheet for our upcoming test. And question number 1 asks for the average rate of change of the function given over the given interval. And remember, average rate of change means we need to find the slope. And to find the slope, I need 2 points. And to get those 2 points, I plug in the interval. So I plug in -2, and I get 3 times -2 squared minus -2 plus 2. Okay, so this is going to be 12 plus 2 plus 2, which is 16. So one of the points I'll be using to find the slope will be -2, 16. And now I plug in 2, and I get 3 times 2 squared minus 2 plus 2, or that's going to be 4 times 3 is 12, minus 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So the other point is 2, 12. And then to find the slope, I take one y value, so 12 minus 16 over 2 minus -2. And if I go 12 minus 16, I have to go 2 minus -2. So I get -4 over 4, which is -1. So the average rate of change for that quadratic function on that interval is -1. Okay, so now we're looking at 2 quadratic functions. Looks like they both open up, but with the whole number in front, remember that's going to be skinnier, and this is going to be spread out more. It's going to be flatter. So G is wider than F? I think so. F and G open in the same direction. Yep, they both open up. And F and G have the same vertex. Let's see, the vertex here, because there's no linear term, the vertex here is going to be 0, 0. And the vertex here, again, because there's no linear term, is going to be 0, 0. So yeah, they have the same vertex. And lastly, they have the same axis of symmetry. If they have the same vertex, then they would have the same axis of symmetry. So just double checking everything, because and remember that whenever it says select all that apply, there's going to be more than one answer. It's odd that there would be all of the answers, but anyway. Moving on to the next question. What is the axis of symmetry for the function blah, blah, blah? Well, the vertex for that function is -2, -5. So the axis of symmetry would be x equals the x coordinate of the vertex, which is -2. So that's letter C. Then we have the graph of H is a translation 3 units left and 2 units up of the graph of x squared. Right, H in vertex form. So x squared starts here at the origin, but I'm going to move that 3 units left. So 1, 2, 3, and then up 2 units. So that's going to put that vertex at -3, 2, which means the function h would be h of x equals x plus 3 quantity squared plus 2, because our vertex is -3, 2. And they didn't tell us to find a in this problem, so we're good with that. Next one, this function models the height in feet of a kangaroo t seconds after it jumps. What is the maximum height of the jump? So in other words, find the vertex. And remember, with any of these parabolas, this particular one is starting at the origin. Well, I mean, it may be over here somewhere, but for our purposes, it's going to start from the ground and jump and then hit the ground later. And this vertex is the maximum height. So the vertex is the opposite of b, which is negative 18, over 2a, which is negative 32. And if I divide those by 2, I get 9 over 16. And that would be the time at which this maximum occurs. I want the actual height. I want the y value. It's asking for the maximum height. So that means I have to plug that in. So negative 16 times 9 over 16 squared plus 18 times 9 over 16. I'm going to go to my calculator for that, rather than take up time. So negative 16 times 9 over 16 is negative 9, plus 18 times 9 over 16 is 81 over 8. And then plus negative 9 is 9/8 is what I'm getting. So I would accept 9/8 feet. I would accept 1 1/8 feet. Okay. I would accept either one of those answers. Decimal, no, it's not that difficult of a fraction that we can't write the fractions. And we need to write the decimal. So Nikki wants to surround an 8-inch by 6-inch painting with a frame that is W inches wide. So the painting is, let's go to another piece of paper for this one. Painting is 8-inch by 6-inch. Okay, so 8 inches by 6 inches. And he wants to surround it by a frame that is W inches wide. Okay, so that means that this here, this new width is going to be 2W plus 6, and this new length will be 2W plus 8. And they want us to write a function in standard form for the area of the combined picture and frame. So A of W equals the quantity 2W plus 6 times 2W plus 8. And they want that in standard form. So in other words, multiply it out. Okay, so A of W equals 4W squared plus 16W plus 12W plus 48. Or A of W is 4W squared plus 28W plus 48. Okay. Now we come back to number 7 on our sheet here, and it gives us a table of values, and it's asking, would a linear, quadratic, or exponential model this function the best? And so we check the first difference, and the first difference here would be 6, and then the difference here would be 6, the difference here would be 6, and the difference here would be 6, and our job is done. When the first differences are all equal, we know that that represents a linear function. And then on the back side here, you have one quadratic in graphing form, one in standard form to graph. and name all the stuff. So we look at that equation. The vertex is 3, 2. Take the opposite of what's with the x. So that makes the axis of symmetry x equals 3. Domain is all real numbers. And we'll wait for the rest. So 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And it opens up. So I'm going to plug in 2. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Squared is 1. Plus 2 is 3. So if I plug in 2, I get 3. And then I can use my axis of symmetry. And then I'm going to plug in 1. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Squared is 4. Plus 2 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then use my axis of symmetry. So I can see that my range is going to be y is greater than or equal to 2, because that's going to be my lowest point. And the x-intercepts, no, there aren't any. The y-intercept, looks like I need to plug in 0 because it didn't come out when I plugged in those other points. So 9 plus 2 would be 0, 11. And then draw in my parabola, and we're done. The second one is in standard form. So to find the vertex, I use that x is the opposite of b over 2a. So that would be negative 4 over 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4 over negative 4, which is 1. And then the y value will be negative 2 times 1 squared plus 4 times 1 plus 1, which is negative 2 plus 4 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So the vertex should be at 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, and this opens down. Axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Domain is all real numbers. X-intercepts, yes, it's going to have them. And remember, this is the one where I can look at it and I can tell the y-intercept pretty readily. If I plug in 0, I get 1 for the y-intercept. And that is going to be a point right here. And my axis of symmetry says there's going to be another one right there. And then one more point. Let's see, 1, 2. If I plug in 3, I get negative 2 times 3 squared plus 4 times 3 plus 1. So that's going to be negative 18 plus 12 plus 1 that's negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy's a little skinny because of that 2 out front. Remember, that makes it skinnier. So I believe we have everything. We have the vertex, axis of symmetry. Oh, the range. For this one, the range is going to be less than or equal to 3, because this is my highest value. Everything in this quadratic is going to be below that. So, and then, yep, and that's it. And that is pretty much the test.